Okay, believe it or not, the OnePlus Nord is actually very similar to the company's OnePlus 7T. I mean, they both come with very similar displays, they both offer the same wired charging standard, they both, since they are OnePlus phones, they obviously come with Oxygen OS, and they both also employ the same main camera at the back. So I understand the confusion in choosing one or the other. But don't worry, in this video, I will be comparing these two smartphones end to end to finally answer the question, is it worth saving 10,000 rupees and buying the Nord, or should you just get the OnePlus 7T instead? Hey guys, I'm Prateek from Mr. Phone, and before we get on with this amazing video, make sure to hit the bell icon and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, so that you don't miss out on any quality tech content that we put out. Now that you have done that, let's get on with the full comparison of the OnePlus Nord and the OnePlus 7T. Design-wise, the two OnePlus phones are actually quite different. Now with the OnePlus Nord, you're going to get a sort of boxier design, a boxier aesthetic, and the smartphone's back is also relatively flat as compared to the OnePlus 7T, which instead comes with subtle curves towards the back, which for some is actually easier to grip. The back of the two phones uses different finishes too, and while you get a solid glossy paint job with the OnePlus Nord, the 7T comes with a subtler matte coating. Now between the two, I can't really choose a favorite. I mean, I love the looks of the OnePlus Nord and the blue color is to die for, but the frosted matte finish on the back of the 7T is no slouch either and wins the same number of style points. Do let me know in the comments below which of these two designs do you like more though. Moving on, both the phones come with Corning's Gorilla Glass version 5 on the front as well as the back, so rest assured both these phones can protect scratches and dings to a certain degree. They're both very comfortable to hold to, and I could use both the devices easily with just one hand. Do note that the frosted matte finish on the OnePlus 7T is quite slippery though, and the phone does weigh a little more at 190 grams as compared to the Nord's 184 gram chassis. The ports and the buttons are the same on both the phones though, and both the handsets ship with an alert slider and a power button on the right hand spine. The left hand side of the frame is reserved for the volume toggle, which is equally tactile on both the phones, and at the bottom there is a Type-C port present on the two devices for charging. Now one thing to note here is that the OnePlus 7T comes with the USB 3.1 Gen 2 port, whereas the OnePlus Nord comes with the USB 2.1 port. So not only are you going to get faster data transfer speeds on the OnePlus 7T, but you'll also be able to output to a source, say a capture card, since this is a two-lane USB port. Also, neither of these two handsets offers expandable storage and only comes with a dual SIM card slot, so be wary of the 64GB storage variant of the two phones. Oh, and the typing experience is equally enjoyable on the two smartphones, so no complaints here either. Coming to the audio setup, neither of the two phones come with a headphone jack, which is quite disappointing. Thankfully for the OnePlus 7T, the smartphone does offer a very compelling set of stereo speakers which get quite loud. The Nord, on the other hand, ships with a single mono speaker at the bottom, which gets fairly loud too, but you'll miss out on good instrument separation here. So for audio, the 7T is the clear choice. Both the devices we have here today come with an in-display fingerprint sensor, which is equally responsive on the two phones. There's support for facial recognition here too, which once again didn't disappoint me on either of the two handsets. What I will say, however, is that the Nord is a little slower to wake the display when compared to the OnePlus 7T. Only a little, so you will get into your home screen a fraction of a second later on the Nord. Now, is that a deal breaker? No, not really, and if I had just used the OnePlus Nord, then I would be elated with its biometrics. As for the sensors, all the important ones are present on both the phones, including a proximity sensor, an electronic compass which lets you check your orientation on apps like Google Maps, and an ambient light sensor. Now interestingly, the adaptive brightness works much better on the OnePlus Nord. Now I'm sure you might have already guessed that, but what that means is that if you're using your phones at 50% and you suddenly switch off the lights, then the adaptive brightness on the OnePlus 7T is going to take its own sweet time to reduce, whereas the OnePlus Nord's adaptive brightness actually switches much more instantaneously. Now, as I mentioned at the start of my video, the OnePlus Nord and the OnePlus 7T draw a lot of parallels, and the same is true in the display department too, where both these smartphones come with a fluid AMOLED display which refreshes at 90 Hz. In the case of the Nord, you'll get a punch hole notch positioned towards the left with the phone's display measuring in at 6.44 inches. The 7T offers a slightly bigger panel at 6.55 inches, and it comes with a dewdrop notch instead, which takes lesser room as there is only one selfie camera on the OnePlus 7T. However, the media consumption consumption experience is equally enjoyable on both the phones, with both the handsets supporting a peak brightness of 1000 nits for HDR playback and Widevine L1 support for HD and HDR playback from apps like Netflix and Amazon Prime. Oh, and since both the phones run Oxygen OS, you'll get ambient displays on the two smartphones, which basically lets you tap the screen to check your time and notifications. Pretty handy and somewhat customizable too, so that's great. Now, no surprises here, the OnePlus 7T is just a much better smartphone when compared to the OnePlus Nord in terms of performance. Now, I recently compared the OnePlus Nord to the Realme X2 Pro, and the X2 Pro, by the way, comes with very similar specs to the OnePlus 7T, and that smartphone absolutely destroyed the OnePlus Nord when it comes to performance. So yeah, the story is not changing here either. Now, the scenery is unchanged here, and the 855 plus UFS 3.1 storage toting OnePlus 7T is just leagues ahead of the OnePlus Nord, which is backed by Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G processor and UFS 2.1 storage. Now, be it benchmarks, the screen grabs for which will be on your screen right now, or gaming, the OnePlus 7T outperformed the Nord in every single test. In terms of gaming, the Nord is going to limit PUBG at just 45 FPS as it defaults to HD and high and lets you switch to smooth and ultra only. While my gaming experience was fantastic on set settings with no major frame drops or heating issues, I enjoyed the visual fidelity offered by 7T quite a lot more, as the phone allowed me to run the game at 60 FPS on HDR and Extreme. Consequently, if you want to play intensive games at the best possible settings, the OnePlus 7T is the way to go. However, if you're not that big of a gamer, then the Nord's performance will be perfectly desirable to you as well. The smartphone never lagged during day-to-day usage, comfortably held half a dozen apps in memory, and rendered animations smoothly. The app load times were higher when compared to the OnePlus 7T, but on the whole, the Nord is perfectly fit to handle your day-to-day and then some. The 7T, on the other hand, is still a beast of a phone, and it will not leave you wanting for more in the performance department. So now let's talk about the cameras. Now, camera-wise, the Nord offers a quad camera setup at the back, comprising a 48-megapixel Sony IMX586 sensor, which has been paired with an 8-megapixel wide-angle shooter, a 5-megapixel depth sensor, and a 2-megapixel macro sensor. For selfies, the device gets a 32-megapixel Sony IMX616 sensor, which has been paired with an 8-megapixel wide-angle lens. Now, coming to the OnePlus 7T, the smartphone features a triple camera setup at the back, consisting of a 48-megapixel Sony IMX586 sensor, a 16-megapixel ultra-wide-angle lens, and a 12-megapixel telephoto lens. For selfies, the device gets a 16-megapixel Sony IMX471 sensor. So, which of these two clicks better photos? Honestly, there's very little that sets the two phones apart, with the only difference being in their respective color signs. Now, like I mentioned in my comparison of the Nord with the X2 Pro, the smartphone clicked photos with authentic colors, and its image processing was the best I'd seen on any OnePlus phone. Take this white shot of my garden for instance, and here, barring the slightly boosted greens on the leaves and the bluish tint in the sky of the 70s photo, the two images are identical and have the same amount of details regardless of where you zoom in. However, the photo from the Nord is a tad bit better owing to its better truer-to-life color science, which captures the scene as is. In a similar fashion, if you look to the second white shot, then here, the yellow color of the leaves looks more natural on the Nord's photos, whereas it looks forcibly darkened on the 70s shot. Other than that, everything is exactly the same, so the two phones have a similarly pleasing bokeh effect around the flower pot and the same amount of details in the leaves too. Here's another example of the phone's slightly different color signs. Now, the brown leaves on the 70s photo look slightly orangish if you look at the close-up, but the picture quality is top-notch on the Nord shot once again. As for selfies, the 7T takes the lead here, as the photos from the Nord's front-facing cameras are just not very good. I mean, I'm glad that the phone comes with a wide-angle shooter at the front too, which is ideal for taking group photos, but the selfies play up the HDR effect a little too much and output a photo with blown-out highlights around the cheeks and overtly darkened hair. The 7T selfie is much more aesthetically pleasing, as is its portrait shot, by the way, in comparison to the Nord, which once again is emphasizing too much on the shadows, and the blur effect is not the tidiest either. Now, wide-angle photos look better on the OnePlus 7T too. There are just a lot more details captured by the phone's 16-megapixel sensor, and be it the bushes around my gate or the trees to the left of the frame, the 7T has what I would say a usable wide-angle camera. The Nord's image is just not very sharp, and that's partly why I refrain from using its wide-angle shooter all that much during my time with the phone. Same goes for the macro shots too, and the OnePlus 7T can actually use its wide-angle camera to capture some really crisp macros, but the 2 megapixel macro sensor that you get with the Nord is, well, not possible. In low light situations, the OnePlus 7T outperforms the Nord quite easily. Starting with the photos from the rear camera, you'll notice that while the low light photos without the night mode enabled net similar results on both the phones, the one with the nightscape feature enabled has a much better output from the 7T, as the phone has exposed the overall scene better, has more details in the leaves of the tree just outside my gate, and has kept lens flaring from lamppost under control too. Same goes for the low light selfies, and while both the phones fail to output a serviceable image with the screen flash feature enabled, the 7T's photo offers much better details with the feature enabled. Coming to the videos, the OnePlus Nord and the OnePlus 7T captured near identical 1080p clips, but before I talk more about that, here are the samples. So as you can probably tell, the footage from both the phones is on par with one another, be it in terms of stability or the colors, and it's very hard to pick one from the other. But if I had to choose, I would go for the 7T's clip, as the audio captured was noticeably louder on the phone's footage. Also, you should know that while the OnePlus 7T can record 4K 60fps footage, the OnePlus Nord as of yet cannot. Now these are both OnePlus phones, so you'll find the company's Oxygen OS on both of these handsets, which runs on top of Android 10. Now in the case of Nord, there are some changes, and this time around this phone does not come with the stock OnePlus dialer and messaging app, and it instead uses Google's communication suite, so you get the Google messaging and dialer app with the OnePlus Nord. Now instead, the handset comes with Google's communication suite, which means that unlike the OnePlus 7T, if you're recording calls on the OnePlus Nord, the phone will announce it to both the parties. Other than that, you get a quick share feature on the OnePlus Nord, which comes in clutch if you want to quickly share something you clicked with your friends. The rest of the features are unsurprisingly the same on both the phones, so you'll get utilities like a screen on and off gesture, a system-wide dark mode, navigational gestures, Google's digital well-being suite, and most importantly, no ads and no bloatware on both the phones. Now in the battery department, while both the smartphones come with support for Warp Charge 30T, the OnePlus 7T actually took 1 hour and 20 minutes to charge completely, whereas the OnePlus Nord was able to refuel from 0 to 100% in about 55 minutes. This is despite offering a slightly bigger battery at 4115 mAh as compared to the 7T's 3800 mAh cell, mind you. As for the battery life, the Nord lasted me around 5.5 hours of a single charge with the display set to 90Hz. Now the 7T managed to hit the 5-hour screen on time mark too, with its display set to 90Hz as well, so you'll get slightly better battery life out of the Nord. I tested the two handsets on Airtel's postpaid SIM and got similar network coverage on both the phones, so no complaints here. So, between the OnePlus Nord and the OnePlus 7T, which smartphone should you get? Well, it shouldn't come as a surprise, but barring their performance, both of these smartphones are absolutely neck and neck, be it in terms of their camera performance, their looks, or even their software. So, unless you're going to fully utilize the 855 Plus processor that you get with the OnePlus 7T, or you just need a smartphone with stereo speakers, I'd say go for the OnePlus Nord. This is an excellent phone, and it's going to do pretty much everything that the OnePlus 7T can, and it's also going to click better daylight photos. But if you want to play every single game at the maximum possible graphics settings, and you absolutely need a phone with stereo speakers, then the OnePlus 7T is still one of the best phones in 2020 despite being a year old. But guys, that wraps up this comparison from my end. Do let me know in the comments below which of these two smartphones would you personally buy. Would you get the OnePlus 7T or the OnePlus Nord? And as always, if you enjoyed this video, do give us a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. Until next time, this is Prateek from Mr. Phone signing off.